Hello, everybody, and welcome to the post-match podcast where Liverpool was drawn 2-2 with Manchester United, and a belated Happy New Year. This is our first post-match podcast of 2025. Sadly, it is not reporting on yet another win, but at least there is everything as you were. Liverpool have restored their lead at the top of the table to 6 points. I'm your host, Theo Squires, and as always, thanks to our sponsors, NordVPN, for being great and helping us with what we do. It's a disappointing one for Liverpool, really. They weren't at their best against Manchester United, and they trailed. Even though they led late on through a Mohamed Salah penalty, they just weren't able to hold on right until the end. And it's a frustrating one. It was a big opportunity for them to extend their lead at the top of the table to 8 points, especially after Arsenal and Chelsea dropped points yesterday. Instead, they've managed to retain it at 6. I suppose you can't complain too much when you're leading 6 points at the top of the table with a game in hand. As always, we are live on YouTube, so get your comments in. What did you think of the game? Who's your man of match? All the usual stuff. Whilst we're doing that, I'll just run through the basics of it. So, yeah, Liverpool, it was a pretty sloppy first half, truth be told. There weren't too many chances for the Reds. You had one from Cody Gakpo where he toe pokes wide after racing through onto Ryan Gravenberch's through ball. Maybe he should do a little bit better. Toes it wide at the far post. And then we also have got one for Alexis McAllister as well, where Mohamed Salah crosses it into the box. He volleys it when running onto it, but he can't find a way past Onana. After the break, Lisandro Martinez, he gives United the lead after 52 minutes, and it's a really sloppy one from Trent Alexander-Arnold. He won't want to see it back. He gives away possession cheaply. He fails to then track Bruno Fernandes, who sets up the goal, and he loses Lisandro Martinez as well, who ghosts in behind him, powers home at the near post. Considering he was so good against West Ham last weekend, Arne Slot said on Friday he's just lacking that little bit of consistency. Sometimes he's great, sometimes he's not. Today was definitely one of those nots, and there's obviously going to be plenty of talk about his future with Real Madrid having that failed approach for him on New Year's Eve. It's a strange one, isn't it, when Trent can be brilliant one week and then he just falls apart the next. Liverpool do get back on level terms pretty quickly through Cody Gakpo. Alexis McAllister threads it through to him down the left-hand side. Gakpo cuts inside, leaves De Ligt on his backside, and then just powers into the roof of the net from an acute angle. A great goal from the informed Dutchman, who I think has got like 11 goals for Liverpool, is it, so far this season now? He's in brilliant form since he's nailed down that role on the left-hand side. He's scoring goals for fun, scoring goals basically every week at the moment. So long may it continue. Liverpool take the lead not too long after that either, really. It was the 70th minute, a penalty from Mohamed Salah. There's a Manchester United handball in there from McAllister's cross. Initially, referee waves play on, Michael Oliver, but he's told to check it by the VAR. He goes to his monitor and does give the penalty, and Salah finds the bottom corner. Did you ever doubt him? I think he's now level with Thierry Henry in the all-time Premier League goal-scoring charts. 175, correct me if I'm wrong there, if you're in the comments. But sadly, Liverpool couldn't hang on. And 10 minutes again later, Diallo gets the equaliser for them. It's Garnacho, his substitute, who's come on. He gets down the left, cuts it back low, and Diallo goes in at the far post, beats Robertson to the cross, and just side foots past Alisson. There's still a few chances, and Arna made a couple of late saves from Conor Bradley, made his return from injury today, and from Diogo Jota as well. Credit, I suppose, we're talking about players who come back from injury, so Ibrahim Konate played the full 90 minutes, and I thought he was a rock at the back. In midfield, Gravenberch and McAllister are good, and then Gakpo and Salah just always stepping up at the moment when Liverpool need them. But Trent Alexander-Arnold had a really poor game with 2 cup games in the next week against Tottenham Hotspur in the League Cup semi-finals, and then Accrington Stanley in the FA Cup. You can't imagine he starts at least one of them. He could be dropped for both. That'd be more normal rotation selection issues. But it's a big dilemma, I suppose, for Arne Slot to think, how do you get the best out of him on a more consistent basis? Slot had said in the week that he wouldn't be stabilised, but all this talk about his future. If you look at a performance like that, you do start to wonder how much of an impact it is potentially having on him. Obviously, get your comments in. Ron said, second year we fluffed our lines, flattering to deceive. So it's very easy to be negative, but that's what you've got to take the positives from it. It's as you were heading into the weekend. You didn't expect Chelsea to drop points again. You didn't expect Arsenal to drop points at Brighton. While you think Manchester United at home is the game that's there for the taking, Liverpool are as they were going into the weekend. 6 points clear. They've got a game at hand. They're still in the driving seat in this Premier League title race. They're in the position you want to be in as we head into the second half of the season. for them. Talking the second half of the season, Darwin Núñez will be suspended for the Nottingham Forest game. He came off the bench and got his fifth booking of the season. Now, as Liverpool had a game in hand, still this was their 19th game while everyone else has played 20. So this was the last game to get through to avoid that suspension for 5 yellows, and Darwin Núñez wasn't able to. He got a pretty cheap booking, really, so he's going to be out for Forest. So it'll be interesting to see Diaz up front again for that one. Or a job to give it a go. But as I've already said, there's 2 cup games before Liverpool are back in Premier League action now. Looking at the stats, it's a painful one to look at how Liverpool didn't win that, really. They had 19 shots to United's 13, an XG of 2.87 to United's 1.03, edged the possession, pulled Onana into action more than Alisson was. Yeah, it's a tricky one. You expect this to be a win for Liverpool, and they've conceded 2 really good goals. And they've been quite sloppy defensively, really, in the last 6 weeks or so, but they've still been getting results. At least they are still unbeaten since that Nottingham Forest defeat way back in September. They've now played 19, won 14, drawn 4, and lost 1 in the Premier League. Scored 47, which I believe is more than anyone else. Yep, more than anyone else. But they are the joint second best defence. If they hadn't conceded the 2, they'd have beaten Arsenal to it, but they've conceded 19 and Arsenal have conceded 18. And get your comments in. You're not being very talkative today, I'm afraid, but normally I have loads of your comments to respond to. I suppose it's easy to be a bit despondent there after a Liverpool draw. We're just so used to them winning every game at the moment. When you look at the last few games, really, the away ones, especially when you batter Tottenham Hotspur 6-3, you batter West Ham United 5-0. There was an expectation that Liverpool would be able to do the same against Manchester United. They're there for the taking. But then that's always easier said than done. United come into Anfield, they were never going to be pushovers here. Liverpool, you wanted to see them get a comfortable win, even just a 1-0 or a 2-0, something like that. But they weren't able to. They were poor defensively at times. They needed Van Dijk and Konate to bail them out with clearances at the right times. A number of occasions, they conceded 2 cheap goals, and there's plenty for Arne Slot to work on the training ground there to get them back to the defensive best. But you can't fault the attackers. That's something we can always say, can't we? With Gakpo scoring again, Salah scoring again. Salah still leading the charts in the Premier League Golden Boot. That's 18 for him now, 2 clear of Erling Haaland. He's still leading the playmaker chart. He hasn't got any new assists today. He's on 13. Have a stacker out for 2 months. You can't see him getting pipped there. So yeah, it's a strange one to really assess, where Liverpool didn't have too many golden opportunities. The 2 I mentioned in the first half, and then a couple in the second half, and the shooting straight at Onana. Bradley nearly caught him out at the near post. Yeah, you just expected more from Liverpool, but they're not going to be perfect every single game. Drop points to Newcastle and Fulham last month, Manchester United today. This is the blip, just the occasional draw here and there where you should expect them to win. You say that when they're still in control in the Premier League title race. Let's go on the Echo website, see if Doyley's player ratings have come through yet. I'd imagine Trent Alexander-Arnold won't want to read them. I'd imagine he gets the worst rating, and the headline's pretty much suggesting that Liverpool player ratings as Trent struggles and 1 shines at United draw. Now, I'm not reading it yet. I'm going to guess that. Actually, can't really guess who's the shine. It's going to be the midfielder. It's going to be Cody Gakpo. Right, McAllister was good. Gravenberch was good. Maybe it's McAllister. Let's see. So yeah, Trent gets a 5. 1 finish blocks, but his distribution inconsistent, and he lacked awareness on occasion. On Munoz to error for the United opener, booked and subbed. McAllister gets an 8, denied by Gooden on a save. Made some great late runs into the box. Fine pass set up Gakpo for the opener. Won the penalty. Yeah, as expected, McAllister the standout there. Want to read Doyley's player ratings? They are on the Liverpool Echo website, and we'll have all the reaction to this one for all your quotes from Ruben Amorim, Arne Slot. If Ghosty gets anyone down in the mix zone, and then your normal analysis and your normal match verdict from August and Ian Doyle as well. We've got a few more comments here. Disappointing. Should have been 3-1, says Ian. Which one of the goals for United are you cancelling out there? It's a difficult one. They were both poor to concede, and Liverpool did have a couple of chances, but couldn't really seem to score more than 2 the way they played. Saren, sorry if I've said your name wrong there, says, I think it was difficult to play our passing game because of the weather. I suppose you have to be pointed out that the weather was pretty atrocious. Obviously, there was lots of snow on Merseyside overnight, so the game was a doubt at one point this morning, but they got it on. You can still see snow pitch side at Anfield today at the moment. and it was just very cold. The pitch was good condition, but it rained pretty much throughout. It's still raining now, so it wasn't the best conditions for Liverpool to play in, but you can't use them as an excuse. They should have had enough quality to beat Manchester United and only have themselves to blame for not managing to do so. Tony Stark says Trent was a disgrace, should be benched until the contract situation is sorted. Well, I can see why people are going to be frustrated with him. Like, there were some supporters to the right of the press box here who were screaming at Arne Slot to get him off a lot sooner than he actually was. But Trent has just been this little bit inconsistent this season. Like I said earlier, one week he's brilliant, like he was against West Ham. The next, his performance drops a little bit. And that United formation, where it's the wing backs, he really struggled up against Dallo, who got in behind him quite a lot. It was a long time coming for a goal to come through his position. Only he will know if he was carrying an injury, if he's distracted by his future, if it's just a bad day at the office. That happens. But there's always that scrutiny on Trent Alexander-Arnold, isn't there? And maybe that's part of the reason why he could be tempted by Real Madrid if he does go on a Bosman transfer when his contract expires at the end of the season. But then Arne Slot said on Friday that Real Madrid don't always get the man, alluding to Steven Gerrard. You never know. But either way, the fact that the contract is up in the air, it gives you that something to look at, something to question every time Trent drops the ball slightly. And it would be much to Liverpool's benefit if they could resolve it one way or the other as quickly as possible to take that distraction away. Philly's a bit disappointed because he's missed out on his Aka. Needed a Salah assist for 950 quid. McAllister missed that chance early on. Oh, yeah, I feel for you, Philly, because it was such a good ball from Salah. Maybe McAllister had a bit of time to bring it down, but it was a great first-time finish. He's just unlucky that Onana's produced a good save there. Deny him. What are we on now? 6:47. Arne Slot's press conference will be starting shortly. So, if you get any more comments, that might be it for today's post-match podcast, starting 2025 with an underwhelming draw. Hopefully, we won't say that too often in the second half of the season. Some positives. Even if Nottingham Forest win tomorrow, they only go level with Arsenal on 40. So Liverpool are guaranteed to have the 6-point lead for another 8, 9, 10 days, whatever it is, until they travel to Forest a week on Tuesday, Wednesday, because it's the 2 cup games. Yeah, losing track of my matches here. January is always a weird one with these cup matches. Look at the other fixture in the Premier League today. Saw Fulham get a late 2-2 draw against Ipswich Town. You might wonder why I'm telling you this, but that means that if Ipswich held on to win, they'd have overtaken Everton. They didn't, but Everton are now only 1 point clear of the drop zone, having played 19 games. If Wolves beat Nottingham Forest tomorrow, Wolves will overtake Everton and Everton will be 17th. So it's not looking too rosy for Liverpool's Merseyside neighbours at the moment. But not much else to report in the Premier League today, was there? The only other game left now is Forest Wolves tomorrow, Midlands derby, with ramifications at both ends of the table. We can only focus on Liverpool, where it's a tough one to stomach, but you've not lost anything from it. You came into the weekend 6 points clear, in the weekend 6 points clear. Could have done with extending that to 8, but there's always going to be ups and downs. Liverpool were not going to go into the second half of the season and win 19 out of 19, 20 out of 20, whatever it is. There were going to be times where they weren't at the races. There were going to be times where they coughed up chances defensively, where they slipped up. I'm seeing a few more negative comments about Trent here, so that's something that I imagine is going to be a talking point for the week until Liverpool return to action in the League Cup semi-final against Tottenham Hotspur. So I think that's all we've got time for on the post-match podcast today. I won't be at Tottenham Hotspur, so we're not going to have it there. I will be back at Anfield for the Accrington Stanley game next Saturday, so we should have an FA Cup post-match podcast for you there. Hopefully Liverpool will progress to the 4th round, keep up the challenge in all 4 competitions, and then the next Premier League one is that Nottingham Forest game. Waiting to see if we get in for that one, so you might see us at the City Ground. If not, waiting for that next Anfield game, which is beyond my memory at the moment. As I said, January is always a strange month for these cup games. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your comments. Could have been better, could have been worse. Liverpool not at their best, but carry on their unbeaten run. 6 points clear. You take it, don't you? Until next time, thanks and goodbye.